All right, kings, queens, can you hear us? I think we'll be looking at Bar chat.
Hey everyone, how's it going? I can hear Ash fine. So it's all good.
Can
Cabana
devs do something in 2 minutes?
already?
All right, Aaron, can you hear us?
Yes, sir. Can
By
you
the way,
hear
how
me?
did everybody find Aaron's hosting during the Lions Den?
Terrible.
Wow. Music. Music did it for me.
But I really enjoyed it. The whole event, actually. Definitely keen for the next one.
Yeah, it was fun.
All right.
It looks
I
like
think we'll get started. But yeah, so the main reason we wanted to have this AMA, obviously, like we'll go over the weekly update, the news. I will say with Coinbase, because I know there've been a lot of questions. Like the short answer is I still can't reveal much. We can't reveal much. So pretty much what's been said. Like there is a difference between partnerships and those we're just listing. And it's in addition to what Sanjin said on Twitter. But I will say, like in our dealings with them, it's been a really good experience. I would say, like they've got, like there've been multiple contacts there. Like they're, it looks good. Like that's, I guess the summary of how to say. I'm buckling here, trying to like not cross the line. Eh? So I think we'll just leave it at that.
I mean, there's a big difference between OpenSea and Coinbase right now in terms of contacts, right? I think for us.
I think that's probably it's pretty evident without saying too much. But it also just goes to show, I think, how quickly OpenSea have exploded, which is like good on them, right? Like they've done a lot for the space, but obviously there's a bit of struggle there too. But like short answer, very bullish. Sounds like you just broke the NDA. Oh, there it is. I'm also a criminal as well for my RuneScape days through, so I guess it doesn't really matter anyways. All right, so for those who missed it, the weekly update, by the way, we're posting all of these on Medium. Like that's our main blog now instead of Discord. And I think you can subscribe to it as well if you want to get like updates to your email, if that's easier or not. But it was a short one yesterday, right? But short but sweet. Just a recap on the Coinbase partnership. And we also released the analytics dashboard, which like I've been monitoring the feedback of that, especially in Floor Talk, because I know that's where a lot of the I guess, how do you say it? A lot of the dissecting of traits and prices and figures and all that goes in. So it looks like the feedback has been pretty like overall positive, which is really good. The team at Mnemonic, I always get it wrong, have been really good to work with, and they've got a few other like top collections that they've partnered with as well. So if there is any other feedback on that, I think we'll start checking ideas and feedback more like for this rather than Floor Talk. So just send any feedback that you have on the platform there. I've seen a few already. Like I will be sending this to the team, and like I said, like they have been pretty good with our feedback. Like we asked them to customize a few things. Floor Talk stand up. Yeah. Aaron, how have you found the feedback on the analytics page? Any like really interesting pieces or?
Yeah. I'm super stoked about like all of the how you can go down through each trait.
Yeah.
Super cool. Plus the overall design, I think, just looks a lot cleaner and matches us a bit more.
Yeah, that was the part that I actually found really cool as well, because I don't think I've seen that on other sites, where you can actually like dive into the traits and see the floor price or the all-time high for each of those individual traits.
Yeah, same. Super clean.
Yeah. In other news, guys, all-time high with lazy lion holders, which is really bullish. Especially how that comes right after the collectibles DApp. And I know we've spoken about this before, but the increase in visitors that we had when we announced the collectibles DApp, and that was such a short release as well. Like we only had it running for like a couple of days before we broke the APIs. But that like it literally doubled our active visitors from the previous week. So like a visitor is anyone who jumps in and actually like interacts with the Discord. So that's really cool. And like we are expecting the next version of the collectibles DApp to be released later this month. It's actually in beta testing with like a few Discord members right now. And then obviously we announced the Lions only update. So most of you would have seen that in the Discord. And that's partly what we want to spend a bit of time on this in this AMA about. So if anyone had any questions, like happy to answer it. Obviously, said pretty much how I personally felt about it, which is extremely disappointed. But it is what it is. These things happen. So if anyone does have any questions about that, we could sort of go through it. But then besides that, I think we'll dive into the AMA questions and also give an update on like what's coming later this month.
Snowman lion card.
I wasn't a lion when I said I love you. That's yeah. All right. So maybe we'll start off with what's coming later this month. So like as you could probably expect, like we're in the process of mapping out what 2022 looks like. It's like we're rounding out the end of this year. But in terms of the end of this month, so obviously Coinbase, the analytics are out. We're reviewing Sandbox developers. So anytime you come across like any like notable developers that build out on Sandbox, like feel free to ping Aaron with those. Like we're entering a lot of those chats. It's interesting to see like all the different capabilities and like how they all view Sandbox. But yeah, so later this month we've got merchandise, right? Which unless if something, because like it is contingent on who we're working with, but I think that's pretty much ready for later this month, right?
Yeah, just testing out, obviously just testing out the final samples and everything like that. So yeah, if anything,
Mhm.
the only thing that could go wrong is just with the samples. But other than
Yeah.
that, it looks pretty on track. So
Yep. Yep. And we're doing this in like, I guess we'll explain how the merchandise is going to work, but we are like we're looking at like a partnering option as well. So it'll be like two different kinds, I guess, but like with their own unique items. But we'll give a bit more info on that later on. There's also another like announcement partnership, which I probably can't say too much about right now. Less of a partnership, actually. It's more just an announcement that we're going to make. The next round of collectibles is coming. It is going to be Christmas themed, and it's with the new API that we're using. It's going to be way better now. It's still, I would still consider this like early access, and like it just goes back to like what are our long-term views for this. Like in the chats that we're having with like with brands or whatever, it's interesting, right? Because there's definitely a lot of interest in Web3. There's a lot of interest in Web3, but like the feeling that I'm getting from brands is like it's obviously still so early. And I was having a chat with someone who works with a lot of these brands, and he was like, mate, like this is like they definitely want to look at ways to partner up, but like our advice to them is like, hey, like here's like a 4-step process. Number one, maybe start accepting crypto as payment, and it's like I think that's sort of just like yeah, you really have to step back and go, yeah, like they're trying to partner with NFTs, like maybe do accept that as payment first. So yeah, there's that. We've also got the VR chat, private island. That's looking pretty good. I don't know if we can share any more sneak peeks.
sorry,
Maybe we'll save it then.
I can show one. It's being built out at the moment, but I guess I'll send this one in. It's a rough draft, but just slowly building out, the Cabana bar and everything like that. So
Yeah, but like, sure. And like finishing that thought on the collectibles DApp, right? Like I see that like as being a way for us to really like partner up with other brands, right? Like that can almost be like their first step into the NFT space, and it's like very like low risk, I guess. And like there's a lot of things that we can do with it. Like we're definitely doubling down, like especially like looking at the data that we saw with the visitors right after. I think there's a lot that we can do there.
There we go. There's some cooler ones, but I wanted to save those ones just for later on. But yeah, it's been starting to look good. So
Yeah.
we could jump in there, host one of these AMAs in that world on the actual private island, since we can't do it in real life at the moment. So yeah.
The Cabana bar. This island is making me bullish on floaty traits. There's always one guy just pumping their bags in the chat, eh?
Makes up some random comparison.
It's usually 9, but
Oh.
hoodies. Yeah, so then there's VR chat as well, which I'm really excited about. That was part of the community grant, and like they've like, yeah, from what I've seen so far, it's amazing. So
yeah, big shout out to Rock and Badlands for working on that as well. And we also have Ayo, who's creating some music, so as well we'll have that incorporated into the private island. So it's going to be pretty chill.
Yep, absolutely. And then to finish off the year, we've got the new website, which I think looks really, really cool. It's Diego, who's been designing, the collectibles app, the bungalows app, right? And it's like, we've all seen those. I think they look really good. So we're in the steps of like finalizing how that design looks. Really happy about how it's turning out. And in addition to that, the gallery as well. That was I think the last item in the lazy votes.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's the last one.
Yeah. So that's pretty much what's wrapping up the end of this year. Yeah, like there are quite a few things, but that'll be December, and then we're, like I mentioned, we're going to be planning out what 2022 looks like, and expect, obviously, with that, like we want to hear what the community wants as well, right? With lazy votes, so expect another edition of that. So like we said, a lot of these items they were voted by the community, right? And large investments too, like Sandbox, and even smaller things like the gallery and whatnot. So if you're not aware, like when we do have that announcement, please like definitely do vote. Got to get a 75% yes for it to go through.
Do you want to talk about how the new sort of like the roadmap is looking like on the website, and how that's sort of built out so it's like ever expanding type of feel?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're past like roadmaps, like in the traditional sense, right? Like, I think like for me, when I think of roadmap, I think of like checklist and like sort of scratching off. I think we're sort of past that, right? Like we know this is going to be ever evolving, like Nine said. So on the website, it's going to be like that. It'll show like what we've done so far, I guess. So that way newcomers can come in and have a look, as well as like the benefits of Lazy Lines. And then it'll have like targets that we've confirmed to be coming. And that way, whenever we add new things, we can add it to the list. It's not going to be sort of like one and done roadmap, and we sort of lock ourselves in with just doing those things. Because the reality is, right, like it doesn't matter who it is in the NFT space, right? Like it doesn't matter. Like there's always going to be things that come up that nobody expected. It's just the way, like it's just the space that we're in, right? So if something comes up that we think makes sense, then we'll look at incorporating that.
That image from Black Crypto is hilarious, actually.
I thought DJC would be holding my hips. What's going on there? Or maybe it's the other way around. But yeah, so that's the style that we're going with the roadmap. I think it's going to be less of a like here's roadmap, 2.0 or 3.0, and like that's all we're doing, and don't expect anything more or less. I think no, like it doesn't really fit in with the voting as well, because then it's like what happens if we get something that's really cool, we put it towards the community, everybody wants it, or at least majority wants it, and then it's like wait till roadmap 3.0. And obviously like the items that we have on that are coming are not like simple things, right? Like even with the game, right? Like if sure, like that would have been a lot simpler, but like the way, like what we have here together, like it warrants a bigger thing, right? So just even working out how the token's going to work takes time. It's definitely not something we want to rush. But yeah, so that's about the website. I think I just really enjoy talking about the website because of how good it looks. Like Diego smashes it every single time. I mean, how did everybody find the design of like collectibles and the bungalows tab? Super smooth. Yeah.
That's good.
He's got a ton of experience, like Clash of Clans and a bunch of other things. Is the website going to be mobile optimized? Yeah. Yeah. Or at least if it's if it's not super smooth on release, because we are doing it in stages. Like there'll be a section about the Lazy Lions NFT that we'll release first, and then like in the second release we'll do we'll add the bungalows to the bottom as well. So like we're sort of splitting it up into like one bulk release and then a second bulk release. But yeah, so that's the website. And yeah, that's pretty much the summary of the year. So I think with that, we can go into the news that was posted in Lions Only update. So yeah, if you haven't read it already, I'd recommend just giving it a read. But essentially, we found out that there was a moderator who was really misusing their position, and really broke our trust, which is I think the most disappointing thing personally. They were just going to community members, especially larger holders, and spreading misinformation. And to be clear, there's nothing. I got nothing against criticism or posting. Post how you really feel. That's fine. Say it. Maybe don't keep harping on about it over and over again, but say how you really feel. That's how we all grow together, right? If you see something that you think could be better, and obviously we've had growing pains as well. We're aware of that. But yeah, post it. That's how we get better. Ask about it. That's how we all grow. Not afraid of criticism at all. But it'd be in this case, the individual didn't even come up to us, didn't ask us at all. There was no messages, no attempts. It really could have been one exchange, and we could have resolved it all. But yeah, they were just spreading misinformation about some really silly things, around the partnerships and the fact that we can't have partnerships because of rewards. I think I've cleared this up probably every single AMA, but we've spent a decent amount of resources making sure that this was vetted legally by one of the top legal firms in Oz that specialize in blockchain and those kind of matters. And anyone who's dealt with lawyers, these things aren't cheap, but it's obviously worth it for that, for what we were doing. But also those who, if you've ever dealt with anything with law, right? It's never, black or white, at least most things aren't. There's always a bit of, how far across the line is it? But overall they were no, this is fine. It was this, the response was, if this isn't fine what we're doing, then what airline carriers are doing with their rewards program also isn't fine. Right. So it was on that kind of level. So yeah, it's obviously not hurting any partnerships. I don't think it's come up once in any of our conversations. If anything, it's been about, how is the community so engaged, especially when you compare it with other communities, right? And I think you can see that with the Coinbase tweet. I think we had twice as many, retweets, likes compared to all the other announcements. We killed the CV tweet, yeah.
There's a lot of engagement.
It just goes to show. Yeah. So pretty much all of our talks have just been that. And it's and what's worked. I say the same thing every single time, to summarize it, right? Just really gonna it's got to be that everybody feels like they're part of it, right? That's the beauty of Web3. It's not super hard to achieve, I don't think, right? It's just the nature of NFTs. But yeah, so that hasn't been an issue. So there was some misinformation about us being criminals. So yes, I did. I used to create RuneScape bots. So these bots used to play the video game for you, mainly because I was really lazy and I enjoyed the game, and I wanted to get my woodcutting level up, but I didn't want to sit in front of the computer screen. And I figured out that you could make programs, and then I just got really, really dedicated. That's how I am. When I put something to mind, learning how to program, it didn't bother me. I literally printed out all the manuals of Pascal, and I just read them constantly and tried to mess around and create some bots. And I did, and it was really fun. And I was part of a coding community who similar to us, like it was a really passionate community of interest. And they didn't like, it wasn't for the money or anything like that. They just loved it because they loved the game and they loved coding. And like, it was just a place where we could get together and, became a member there. And like, that was a really good experience. That's probably had a bigger impact on Lazy Lines and the coding experience itself, personally. But anyways, like the main thing is I was 12 years old when that happened. Like I'm now in my late 20s. So I think that was like, what, 15 years ago? I definitely said some stupid things on the forum, like definitely. So if you guys ever come across that, like, yeah, apologies in advance, right? It's probably the same kind of. It's on the same level as you'd expect a little kid playing Call of Duty, but it is what it is.
How could you do that?
I was told you were a criminal. I got to 99 cooking on my own. Yeah, touch the soft spot there. Eh? All the guys who played RS probably hate me. But yeah, so that was one part. And the other was just like what, when I was reading, like seems like, attempts at trying to, like reveal our full names. If anyone has my full name, I couldn't give a shit less. Like, I'm not that special. If you guys all want photos of me, take as many photos as you want when we meet. I'm flattered, I guess. But we will dox when we're ready. Right. And I definitely don't appreciate anybody trying to like reveal us or like hold it over our heads. Like, do not do that. Like I will take that. Like that's not something we're going to stand for. Right. And if it comes across as like blackmailing, like I will not be afraid to take legal action as all of us went. Right. Like we don't deserve any of that kind of stuff. But I really don't think anyone is trying to do that besides, at least I hope no one's trying to do anything like that. I am. But yeah, that's the bulk of it. So if anyone had any questions about that they wanted to ask, I know this is sort of a soft spot. Obviously, like the said moderator did a lot for us, which is why it's really disappointing. Like it's just nothing but disappointment, to be honest. They received a 1 month ban. It was going to be a lot harsher, but like we were pleased by the reaction. And like we think the said individual is like struggling as well personally, so we didn't want it to be, we didn't want it to be anything more than what it is now. Like let's just keep moving. But they're definitely not just going to be allowed to come back in after the month's ended. Like we'll regroup, we'll see how it is, and if it makes sense, they can come back in. That legal thing sounded really intense, eh?
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Can we get a social media person for Twitter? That is something we are actively looking at. So we've had a change there, which is probably why you guys, you've noticed, and we've had some feedback on that. That is something like we are, like right now, looking at.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree. It could be really beneficial.
They will not get their mod duties back. Yeah, they would not come back as a mod.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
And I don't want that to like come across as like a slight to any of the other moderators. Like I think the team's been fantastic, right? I mean, look at where we all are. But sometimes happen. Said individual. It is what it is. We deserve an apology for the RuneScape parts. I've been called a bot on Twitter.
Froob remembers Grifton. I don't know how. How do you remember him? It's hilarious. Ban AR on Discord.
In real life, docs leak. I thought it was DJC immediately. I don't know why I laughed at that. No, but like I said, moderators have been fantastic. Obviously, DJC like been fantastic as well.
Everyone's doing good work as moderators.
Really well.
To be honest.
Yeah.
And DJC. I think there's a love-hate relationship with DJC, but you know, got our backs.
So if there aren't, send me 19 and then ban me.
19.
All right. Let's get into the AMA. Thoughts, Aaron?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of good questions in there. A lot, I think that you've kind of already hit on a bit
Yeah.
as of now, but yeah, I think people are excited. A lot less questions than last time post Coinbase, so that's that's good to see, I guess. But
Yeah, and like with these partnerships, right? Because like I think it's pretty obvious from what we're seeing in the space, right? I think we just saw Pepsi release NFTs. Like brands are definitely taking, like I think they're aware of Web3, right? Like you'd be very surprised if you speak with any and like, oh no, like we haven't had discussions internally about Web3. But obviously it is extremely early. It's I think a lot of the like hesitance is like, how do they do it properly without really, coming across as cringe and being rejected from the community.
yeah, which I feel like is going to be difficult for some of the bigger companies to pull off.
Yeah. Like especially like the bigger they get, right? Like the talks to them is like, we really got to make sure, like, how do you know the community is gonna appreciate it, and not reject it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why, again, like things like the collectibles DApp, I think go a long way, especially if we look at like funding some kind of prize pool or something. I don't think that'll come across as negative, but curious to get everyone's thoughts on like what are some of the things that they can do. It was funny though, that comment about like maybe they should accept crypto as payment. It's probably the first step.
Yeah, especially for a lot of the bigger companies that they could probably have it done tomorrow, with as much money they could just throw at it.
It's interesting that they jump into NFTs first before accepting crypto.
Yeah.
Funny thought.
All right. Let's go through the questions. Maybe Aaron, if you want to just throw any that you see that we haven't already answered. They should sweep some floor as well. Yeah.
Cool. Let's see.
A lot of them I think we have answered. Hey,
Can you explain rewards for any new members who are listening right now?
Yeah, it's essentially a rewards program. That's why we call it rewards, for community engagement. So if you do certain things, and you can check this all out on the website. That's where you go to view your dashboard and see if you're passing certain things and what the criteria is. But right now you've got options. So either if you have your Twitter profile photo set to your Lazy Lion NFT, to any one that you hold, or if you have a lion emoji in your Twitter bio, or if you have diamond pause, which is like an additional, like optional thing. That's where you just don't have any lions listed in the marketplace. Or if you have a bungalow NFT in your banner photo. And this is all on Twitter. Something that's worked really well for us, and we're actually doing the next rewards payout tomorrow. It's always an exciting time. So we've got a designated amount that we send out. Right now, we're sending out the rewards in ETH. It'll continue to be ETH for tomorrow as well. We're not doing Polygon. It'll be in ETH. But yeah, like we'll look at adding additional prizes and things like that later on. But right now, it's an ETH. So much news and rewards is the least important. Yeah.
So I think you guys hit on this last AMA, but I've seen the question come up in the Ask Questions channel, but also just in general. If so, the question here is from Sully. It says, even if there isn't an official Lazy Lions presence at upcoming events, is there a way to have like a sponsored events person or party that can represent us at
Yeah.
these events?
Yeah. So like we discussed this, especially after the last call, like with the feedback that we got from here. And like we definitely agree, like we need to have a presence there. And obviously COVID just makes things so unreliable, and it is what it is. So we are exploring now as we're planning out 2022. Like, how can we have a presence there? Maybe that means we, put resources towards getting someone, who attends all these events, or at least sets it up so we've always got a presence there, like in a traditional sense, like sort of have like a booth there, and they just go around. Finding that person who does that, obviously, it's not a straightforward thing, but yeah, we're discussing that right now, like as part of the 2022 plan. Does it make sense? Sorry, to have a resource in that. Hard Rock Nick, he would cost billions, but I think it's worth it. Booth confirmed. Look at this boomer talking about booths. But yeah, I mean, short answer, like we definitely want a presence at these events, especially the big events. And also, like, maybe this is a bit biased because I personally enjoyed it, but the Lions Den, and I think it just like it ties in with what we're about as well, right? Like that's our purpose. We're all exploring Web3 together, right? Like that's what personally I get super excited about, because like the space is ever changing, and we're just going to be part of that. And whether that means we get rewarded, in the traditional sense, or just learning about it and being part of this wave that's happening, right? Which is definitely happening. Digital ownership, like it's not a thing that's going away. So yeah, I think having that kind of structure where people can come up, and I think there's a ton of value as well. We need to make that more well known. Like if they get a retweet from us, or a tweet, like we get DMs about this like literally every day, saying, hey, can you do some kind of partnership? We'll give you our whole wallet and our grandma if you just tweet about it once, which makes sense. But so I think that's something we really need to make sure that people know. Like there's a ton of value in this. When you keep pushing that and get higher, like more and more, quality submissions. Like there are like good submissions coming through, but we just need more. I think that's the real challenge with this, especially during like the early parts. And maybe part of it is figuring out what the structure is going to be with the deals. I definitely agree that was missing. Like maybe we actually allocate funds from the community wallet. Maybe we bring on people who, want to commit some of their own funds and do it like very similar to Shark Tank. I don't see how that's going to work out so cleanly, but yeah, that's one piece that we need to think about. So definitely open to ideas. But that's not going to stop us from having shows. I think we just keep having them, and we'll figure it out. It's definitely better than just sitting around talking about it. Grandma airdrops, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think, Aaron?
Yeah, sorry, I was just reading through a couple of these different questions to see if I can find something else here for us.
Sure. Well, while you're doing that, I mean, yeah, Nine, like, what are your thoughts on Lions Den?
I think it was a lot of fun. I think it gives a lot of opportunities to see other cool projects as well. I know a lot of people enjoyed the analytics page as well, getting like a free trial there, because like according to the votes, it's like it's definitely it's going to be something that we're going to get. So it brings some value to our holders as well. So I think it's really good. I personally enjoyed it. I've spoken to Froob as well, and he said he had a lot of fun. So yeah, happy to keep this going.
Awesome.
Definitely got to make a better intro song. That's for sure.
Oh, that was fire. What do you mean? I had a lot of fun.
What are some other potential referral DApp prizes? Depending on who we partner up with, it could be some of their products. I'm just speaking out loud, but it won't always be lines of bungalows. And to be fair, we don't really give out that many NFTs, like even with prizes.
Woozy asks if there's any recommended accessories that someone may or may not need in order to participate in any of the upcoming metaverse plans, such as an Oculus and stuff like that. So Woozy, yeah, I mean, I think VR Chat is on it's on Steam and it's on Oculus, but you can use a PC to play it as well.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I don't think it's on Mac.
No.
Like I think we've used it with both, or at least I haven't used it on PC. But no, I think you've used it on that, right?
I've jumped in on PC and it works. It works fine. You just got to go through. Steam. If you don't have Steam, you got to get an Oculus headset. Yeah, like a VR.
Yeah.
VR headset. But,
Yeah.
But doesn't work on.
I mean, we use the Oculus headsets. I thought it was like really immersive, but I'm just impressed by the Oculus headsets themselves, like how far that's all come along. But I don't know. I'll scream out and say, "Hey, like, go get an Oculus headset right now."
Yeah. Definitely check it out first when we have our first event, in the private island, and then if you really enjoy it, it's probably worth grabbing one. But it's completely up to you. Otherwise,
yeah. I mean, just picturing it, right? Like it's like the fact that it was so immersive, right? Like right now, we're just looking at obviously Discord and the chat, but like how cool would it be if we were like actually at the Cabana Bar, and we could all see each other, and we've got our avatars, and we're having this conversation there.
I think it'd be a different experience, which is it'd be great.
Right. And then when we do Lions Den as well, we could have the seats all set up, and if we don't like them, we could open up the trapdoor.
What?
My imagination's getting the better of me. Feed into the lions.
You just hear like screams. What's going on? Damn.
Will 8-year-olds like Fruit be allowed at the Cabana Bar, or is there an age limit? It really wants me to get sent to jail. Hey, if like the RuneScape stuff wasn't enough.
Probably recording it right now. Who knows? Ready.
All right. Do we know the royalty being given by Coinbase? Is it 4% as well? It's like if this is in regards to rewards, like we don't want to change how rewards works. But I'm not sure I can talk too much about like the actual Coinbase mechanics and stuff like that.
Is a game in development?
Like we mentioned, we're taking our time with that. Like we're looking at the tokens and like how that sort of like fits in with the overall like ecosystem, and like even things like the metaverse. I think if like Lazy Lions wasn't where it's at right now, like we would have obviously done something on like a smaller scale and probably be like pretty much almost out. But it's too big of an opportunity here.
I think we're looking at building out. We want to build a story, so we want to make sure the story aligns with the game, aligns with us, and aligns with everything we're doing. So yeah, that's a big part of it as well.
Yep.
Story.
Can we find? will you be hiring an additional mod to fill the vacancy? So we've hired, like that was the lazy mods. That's actually all. Why am I blanking out? Like voluntary. And then we do have like staff members as well. That we've been adding more and more. I think every few weeks, or I think last time we spoke about it, I can't remember how many we were at. Sorry, 9.
It's about 5 at the moment that we have.
Right.
Yeah. Have 5 moderators that are on. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to just getting coverage like 24 hours throughout the day, but yeah, I remember we had some feedback that we needed more, so yeah, we can keep digging. So
yeah. What is the criteria for what is presented to Lions then? So we've got a Google form that anyone can access. I think we've opened it up now to, everyone, not just lazy lion holders. It's got some questions there, but yeah, one of the main things is, what does lazy lions, like what do we as a group get out of it? I think what the main thing as well, which is really cool, is like similar to Shark Tank, right? I think just the fact that you get the exposure of being on the show and all the lazy lions listening into it, most likely be recorded. Like we're happy to give feedback as well, like live on the call. So, if you're doing something like from our experience, whether that's valuable or not, like, we'll give our thoughts regardless. What was your first 99 on RS? Sorry, asking the real questions now. It's wood cutting. It was from a not so good bot from my weaker programming days, and it definitely got me banned. Rest in peace. It is what it is.
Yo, I don't know if I'm just old or what, because literally I've never heard the word RuneScape before in my life until I've been in this project.
Feed him to the lions. You are old.
That's interesting.
That's exactly it. You are old. That's an automatic fan.
Arm as well. Oh no, we have some people in the community
still coming out. This is how we trim the Discord.
Oh man, I had no idea.
Damn, we need a complete new set of mods. Let's look at that way. Mod me now. I'll handle business. All right. When will merch be made? So, like I said, expecting that to be later this month. Did you say Pascal earlier? Yeah, that's what we used. Like I said, we didn't do it for was it for efficiency? Like for those thinking, what is Pascal and who is that? Is that actor? Pascal is like a programming language. It's like one of the older ones, like really old, really limited. But we just did that because, like I said, it wasn't so much for like making coin. Like there were others who, like used Java and all that kind of stuff and made some really like crazy things. Like the community was just more about because they loved the game and they loved programming, and they saw it like as a challenge. Didn't want to go and make it easier for ourselves. Losers, eh? Ash actually likes cigars. Love them. Just have them, not that often.
I think there was a question from Wiemi that I can answer. It's an update to the Collabland bot. I'll be doing that today, so it no longer DMs you, and instead it just comes up as a message. So yeah, I'll get that done. By the end
That'd be really good. Yeah, so it's a really good update.
There's still a lot of lurkers in the chat. So
yeah, it's the worst thing. Breaks my heart every time I see these kind of scams happening because they get really sophisticated as well. And like we try, I think maybe more notices and things as well. Like whether it's the stickies that we have or Those hourly posts. I think we even have hourly posts now in the marketplace.
Yeah, just warnings and everything like that. Because a lot of people are still new. They're just not aware.
Yeah.
Less experience than new people as well to go. For sure.
Do we think rewards is holding the team back from expanding? Worried that other projects are able to expand faster since the team are receiving the full royalties? Concern or no? No, I don't think that's. I don't think so. I don't see that as an issue. Like we've got, it's 4% as well. Like I think even obviously the amount that we're getting is like probably less than other like collections. Like they probably like a lot of them do more than 2%. That goes to the team, but I don't think that's an issue. And actually, we had like similar on. This was on the Lions then. The gentleman, the king that was that spoke about the NFT collection and the royalty amount. Like, there's a risk in putting the royalties too high. Like we see it happen. Some of it's like well intentioned. Some of it is just plain out greed. But it just dries up the liquidity. So just got to be careful there that we don't do that. So I think initially we had that we were going to put it at 5%. I think we've got that in the terms of sale. I don't know why we even included that in the terms of sale, but we chose to lower it down. Yeah, and like rewards is so crucial because it just like to me it really like puts like money where our mouth is and like it backs what we're saying, right? Like the project is the community is the project. I feel like yes, it's not like obviously an insane amount if you compare it to some of these tokens. Whether or not they've got liquidity is a whole different story. And whether or not that's actually going to help the project long term, it's even more questionable. But like I think it shows that like it really is like the project's the community is the project. Like we're all building this together. So we want everyone to feel empowered, and like even though it's not, like we said, it's not insane, but I think it's still a really healthy amount considering it's an ETH. Everyone can feel empowered to do things. Because almost 5,000 of us is gonna, like, if we all do it together, we're gonna triumph over any single team. Got no doubt about that.
Yeah, it looks like for the most part, most of these questions have been hit on or answered or given the thoroughest answer that we can give at the moment. Maybe I can go through and just kind of respond to these afterwards, just so it's like in text based on what you guys were saying as well, just so people can have them there. But yeah, I mean, it seems like we've hit on most questions slash concerns.
Cool. Like I will say personally, like obviously, like besides the news that has happened, and like I'm really excited for the end of this month. As we're planning out 22, and what that really, like deep diving into what that really looks like. I'm just excited. Like we can see it, like we can see how it's going to turn out, like the vision of it. But just putting that down and actually allocating more resources and getting that all in. Or maybe I'm just a nerd. I'm just excited about that.
Can we update the official links in Discord and Instagram, the high-res community wallet, dev wallet? And yeah, we can do that. That's something that I've been planning to do as well, but I think that'll help newcomers get access. We'll add it as an embed as we usually do, so it's not like a post. Are we golfers? Ash, are you a golfer?
See that meme by Black Crypto? That's that would be me if I tried to play golf.
How quick do you make these memes? Oh, I just realized these gifs, they're like immediately after. You got a full team working with you.
Just curious if you're juggling full-time jobs with this. Nope, this is our full-time thing.
Yeah. Secretly magicians.
Plans for another Diamond Pools raffle? No plans currently for that. Gift master. Cool. Kings, queens, I think if there aren't any more questions,
Hmm.
we can probably look at wrapping it up.
Yeah, I just want to say congratulations again to everyone. Like that Coinbase, all of that Coinbase stuff, like they posted something, a while back asking what kind of projects, that wanted to be involved basically, and that was just something that everyone kind of rallied around and roared on, and it just goes to show that stuff like that actually helps, and like it is a big community here, and we can really turn a giant ship if we all focus on one thing at a time. So just again, congratulations to everyone in the community for making that possible, and congratulations to the team for making it happen.
Absolutely, big congrats, guys. This is all of us together, and like I said, all these discussions that we're having, like that's the number one thing. It's like the engagement, what we're all building together.
Yeah.
It's because we're all really passionate.
Will the Lazy Lions official Twitter start hyping up merch before it drops? Yeah, I think we're pretty, like, when it comes to hyping things up, I think that's probably one of the things that we're pretty good at. It's our specialty, but yeah, no, we'll work on that. It stems back to our pre-launch days. No sleep, just hype. No sleep. Should be one of our values.
No sleep, just hype. Cool. All right. Kings, queens, have an awesome weekend. Congrats again.
Yeah. Cheers, everybody. Appreciate
Rewards tomorrow, guys. Let's have fun.
Yeah.